All right. Well, welcome everyone. I really appreciate out of your busy time of year, everybody getting down here for our end of year talk. It's not like I don't see you all the time. It's just seeing everybody together is really wonderful, really special. Even just earlier classes today. A little more attendance. People get to mix it up a little more, and that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for you guys. It's a lot of fun for a good experience, you know, get to train with different people. So one of the things I wanted to do, what I usually do, is just sort of look back a little bit on the year. We didn't make much of a big deal of it, but that was our 25th year here. So give us all a hand. So we're already in our 26th year. 26th year. And every year, I want to find a way to make better than the last. All right? 2019, I got some plans. Let's see how it goes. This past year, we had the Year of the Sword, and we're probably going to do a few more of those, all right, coming next year. I've always loved the sword. The Jin, the double-edged straight sword, that guy there. It's a pretty advanced weapon. King of short weapons. And it takes a lot of practice to get good with it. Those who took the course, you agree? Little tricky, right? I show you simple fundamentals, but it's not simple. None of it's simple. And that's why, you know, we have to master our bodies first, coordination, and then we can put something in our hand. And then when you put something in our hand and you make that part of your body. It's not easy. Down the road, I want to get into spear. Spear is the king of all weapons, long weapons, okay? And it's a lot of fun. But it takes time. It takes time, but we're all getting older. And I'm getting worried. Not about my age, just everybody getting older, and there's so much I want to teach and enjoy. In fact, Black Coats, check your email soon. Is that out already? When you get home, check your email. We're going to do something a little special next Black Coat meeting. Plan to stay a few extra hours. Because this art is so much fun. Those who come to retreat, you agree? You get to do a lot of things you don't see in class. Yeah, let's get everybody here at next year's retreat. Training with no worries, just practice. Get up early, practice Qigong, lots of meditation. Love to get over 40 there. Because you all enhance each other's experience. That's the biggest reason. And you get to see more of what Bagua entails. It's a phenomenal art. So what do we have? 4 courses in the sword last year, right? We did the solo, then we did partners fighting with each other, and these are famous traditional sets to learn how to really use a sword. Then we did a little more with sticking last time, right, with the partner. Yeah, they touch your sword. It's not like you see in the movies, a lot of banging. It's actually more getting out of the way and manipulating your position much more. Get control of them. What else did we do last year? Who remembers? I don't remember anything. It's gone. Seemed like a tough year. A lot of stuff in the news. A lot of negative, a lot of challenges, a lot of people disagreeing with each other, a lot of people arguing, fighting with each other. You need to always watch out for that, you know. You gotta watch out for that. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and we need to respect each other. There are many who say the martial arts begin and end with respect. You don't have respect for someone else, you're gonna cause a lot of turmoil in your life. And you're more likely to get in trouble, because then the ego takes over. You don't respect someone, why? You think you're more important. This practice is about that. Remember, destroying the ego, right? What else? Where's O'Leary? Is he here? I don't see him. He's never missed the end of your talk. We gotta tell him, take back his email. Oh, hope he's okay. So I have an old Chinese story about a farmer working his fields from dawn till dusk, day in, day out, and just hoping for better times. In fact, on this day, something remarkable happens that changes his expectations forever. It's a particularly hot day, and the soil is basically burning him, it's fiery. So he decides to take a break under a big tree in the shade and sit on a stump. And he's really kind of down, kind of tired of the same old, day in and day out. Sound familiar to anybody? Anybody relating to this so far? So he's sitting there on the stump, despondent, and just thinking about generation to generation in his family. In the springtime, they're sowing, and in the summer, they're tilling, and in the autumn, they are harvesting. And in a good year, maybe the family eats enough and gets a little extra to barter for supplies in the market. But many years, there's not enough, and starvation is a reality through the winter. This has been going on for his parents, his grandparents, his great-grandparents, and on and on and on. And he's just sitting there, not even wanting to get back up. And all of a sudden, he hears this loud shout. And this hunter comes running and chasing quail up into the air, and he wants to shoot them. And then while he looks there, he sees, boom, this hare comes darting out, scared for its life, and runs right into the stump he's sitting at, breaks his neck, and dies right at his feet. And the farmer's looking like, we haven't had meat in weeks. He's so excited. He has this hare that he doesn't even know work to do. Just get the hare and go home. He throws his hoe aside and he runs home with the hare, and he's going to have a big hare stew tonight. And he tells his wife, I think our fortunes have changed. I was feeling so down, but now I know this is a sign. Everything's going to be different from now on. And his wife just nods her head, hopeful, but knowing the truth, how hard life really is. So the next day, he says, there's no reason why this can't happen again. And he goes out and he ignores the crops, doesn't touch the hoe, and he sits on his stump and he waits for the next hare to come so they can eat more meat. Nothing happens. And 2 days goes by, turns into 4, turns into 6, and he keeps going home saying, I know things have changed. I know things have changed. And for 3 weeks, he's still going back, sitting on his stump, not doing anything. Crops are being ignored. The weeds are growing now longer than his crops. And he's still sitting on that stump, not wanting to work, not wanting to do what he's supposed to do, waiting for that gift again. Of course, the people are laughing at him. In fact, the weeds growing tall, waving in the wind over what's left of his crops also look like they're laughing at him. The moral I want to put on this story, my personal discovery of Gua Zhang kind of blew my mind many years ago. I think very highly of it. And each of you are here with that opportunity. You, by chance, discovered Gua Zhang. Raise your hand if you came here specifically because you wanted to practice Gua Zhang. Don't lie. Nobody knew what the heck Gua Zhang was. See that? By chance. You discovered, or let's say you stumbled upon, what in China, in the martial arts world, is considered like a PhD, graduate school. Even after 30 some odd years now, I'm still so interested. It's a never-ending art, just like the Bagua and the I Ching philosophy itself. It is infinite. I'm never bored. And I hope more and more to help each of you never be bored. But like the farmer, you have to do the work. That's why we have the 5 things. And that's why I look, and this is a wonderful turnout. And I know how busy you are. But you got to show up. You got to get to class. You get into class, don't you always feel better than if you don't? Get in here regularly, 2 to 3 times. And when you get in here, you practice hard. You train hard. And to the best of your ability, then we just brought a new person in, yesterday, and he's so excited. He's asking a lot of questions, and he says, can I practice? And of course you can practice. You better practice. All this excitement. That's what it should be for us. Because the hair ran into the stump for you. But magic's not going to happen if you don't do the work. This art is like magic. For some reason today it came to mind when I was growing up. Many of you probably remember the Bionic Man. You remember the Bionic Man? Too young. Reruns. I was there when it was fresh. And that beginning with him running, and I was like, we can rebuild him. Better, stronger, faster. That's Gua Zhang. It will make you better, stronger, faster, keep you younger, at least feeling that way, age more gracefully, more centered, more positive, happier, more at peace, more a positive influence of the world around you rather than one who drags everybody else down. Literally. You practice this art. It can change everything. How you see the world, how you respond to the world. What's in control of you? Your circumstances or what's inside? How you see it determines how you respond to it. Your whole perspective can change if you practice. It's not up here intellectually. It's an effect that happens when your blood flow is optimal. I really want to encourage everyone to give yourself what you deserve. The time to get out of this art what you can. I know you can't train 6 or 8 hours a day, but a consistent practice, even if it's a half hour, every day. You choose something and you get really good at that. Because one of the kind of the worst things about the martial arts industry is most people, especially in traditional martial arts, they just memorize for rank and for test, and then they go on. The only way to really remember is not with your head. It's with your body. You want to do it so many times that your body knows the right way. And if your body knows the right way, then you've gotten the benefit of that practice. Because if you come to class and you're just trying to remember what you learned, you know what it actually is? Stressful. Sifu wants to test me? Oh. Even my teacher told me years ago. And a lot of people, we had a recording. We had to record ourselves and send it to him. And so many people would be in a panic because they had to do that. You think he didn't know you weren't practicing? A test in this should be something you just show up for, go through your stuff, and go home, celebrate. Yeah, it's challenging, more advanced. Of course, it's very challenging to keep you here a few hours. But if you've done the work, you just do it, and that's it. It is what it is. You know what you know. Your body only can show what your body can show. Trying to do what you can't do could get you hurt. And until it's over, it's not a positive experience because don't you have enough stress in your life? That's why this is a treasure. This is an antidote to all the stress. Stress is poison. Gua Zhang is your antidote. Your practice can basically purify your insides so that life seems easier. Even when the worst things happen, still somehow easier. Because you know what happens when something bad happens is you go through this spiral of, oh my, what if, and you worry and you think and you get tense. And you know when someone grabs your shoulders and they hurt because everything's so stiff up there? And you want that massage, right? And it's painful, and yeah, because it's all coming up here. And those of you who maybe get headaches, most of the time it's just the neck. All that stress, tightness, blocking blood flow, and it gets stuck. Causes a headache. So what is it worth to get rid of that stuff? What is it worth to have control of your insides and how you respond to the world around you? What is that worth? Recently, I talked about how it's like an inner battle and the way we build a powerful military. Right? The U.S. believes they have the most powerful military on the planet. And that's not supposed to be for attacking others. It's supposed to be a deterrent. That's why for martial arts, for self-defense, I like people to think that you have a responsibility as a martial artist. It just reminds me of someone I was talking to recently who was having problems with another guy, and he talks about, and he's an MMA guy, and he talks about this guy's threatening him, and he's just, the other guy's just a big muscle guy. And he has a lot of anger, and he's on steroids. And I said to the MMA guy, I says, you practice martial arts. You know what to do. You have a responsibility not to do it. We want to practice so our skills are so good that we don't have to fight when someone else seems to be going in that direction. You know, you calm the situation. Just because you know how to break someone's arm doesn't mean you have to prove anything. I like people to know that my goal is to teach you how not to fight. And that's not just physical. It's emotional. Stop fighting with others. Stop arguing. Stop thinking you're right all the time and you have to convince someone else that you're right. All that does is create two people who really have a lot of anger towards each other. This practice is supposed to bring more peace. Real martial arts, in my opinion, are supposed to bring more peace. That's why you look at an art like Aikido. They call it the art of peace. It's the same thing. The concept's there. You read Karate Do by Funakoshi, and he talks about a situation where he is walking and there's people coming up behind him. Who read that book? Everybody should read that book. That's why we have it. It's a small book. But the attitude, the perspective, the approach is right. We need to know that. He's talking to himself like it's his responsibility not to let them jump him so he doesn't hurt anybody. Because if you know how to hurt people, it's very easy to hurt people. It's no different than having a gun. The gun, too, is a deterrent, self-defense, not to kill. Unfortunately, a lot of people use them wrong. And unfortunately, a lot of people use martial arts wrong, too. They think it's so that they can walk into a room and feel like they can kick everybody's you-know-what. You feel proud, put the chest out. It's very funny, because in this art, we want to actually do the opposite. See that? Yeah, because we don't want to be spreading our wings and showing we're bigger and stronger. We want to actually be more internal and develop power here so that the battery of our body stays charged, so we have good energy. And that's why a few weeks ago what I talked about was right from the beginning. Think of things. We tell you every day you have to meditate. Meditation is the most difficult thing we do. Meditation is the most important thing we do. But you got to do it every day. No different than brushing your teeth or washing your clothes, etc., etc. You need to do it all the time. This is not an option if you want the full effects of this practice. And that's because, going back to how busy and stressed everybody is. Anybody here not busy and stressed? Not one. Hanging around home with their feet up in the air, right? With pina coladas? Nobody. That's sad, right? That's where we want to be? No, that's lazy. I'd be practicing more, right? You'd be practicing more, right? I lost my train of thought. But seriously, when we're busy and we're stressed all the time, think of how much time you feel like that. That's practice too. Everything you do, everything you feel, how you see things, what you think, is a habit. Most people go through life sleepwalking, not realizing their habits. So the busy, gotta do, worrying about this, worrying about that, and the constant stress is a habit in your body and your mind, which is why meditation is so difficult. Oh, I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes and shut that off. Sure you are, right? Sure you are. You sit down 30 seconds, it's like, I can't do this. That's why you practice. Consistently. Passive attitude. Don't judge how you're doing. Simply practice. Why? To overcome, remember the antidote, to overcome the habit of the constant busy mind and stressful ways. Somehow, to overcome that and create a habit of peace, of relaxation, rest and digest versus fight or flight. Most people are living in fight or flight. They wonder why they have stomach problems. In fight or flight, digestion's turned off. So now they're calling it rest and digest. Because when you're calm, you can actually digest the food you're eating. Otherwise, it's not digesting. And then you get all that inside problems, and is that fun? I don't think so. So now, if you have that problem, do you need a pill to hide the problem? I promise you, those pills make the problem worse. They don't fix the problem. They actually hinder your digestion further, which means you're not getting anything from your food. This is a problem. You eat, why? Because your stomach's empty? No. You eat because your body is hungry. Your body's hungry. Why do people have the stomach cut off? You know, they have like the shrunk down, right? What's that called? Just the bypass, yeah, stomach. Yeah, they cut it down and make it shrink, right? Why? How did they ever get there? There's a little secret about food and nutrition right here. eat nutrient-dense food, you eat a lot less. You eat empty food that just tastes good, you never stop eating. Because your body's still hungry. Stomach's full. Stomach keeps getting more and more full. Keep stretching, keep stretching, keep stretching. You don't eat because your stomach's empty. That's a misnomer. You eat because your cells are hungry. And if you're not satisfied after eating, you didn't eat anything that fed your cells, didn't feed your body properly. So you see how that works? So our practice is like that. When we feed our body through the practice, everything starts to work better because it improves circulation. What is circulation? It carries the digested food and the oxygen we breathe to every cell, feeding our cells. If our cells are fed, we feel better. If we feel better, well, let me take the other angle. Anybody ever get irritable because they're hungry? Yeah? Like the smoker? Does their body really need nicotine? No, it's a drug that does this, right? So they get irritable when they don't get their cigarette. Well, your body's the same. You get irritable when you're hungry. If your cells are full, you're not irritable. You're happy. So already, because of good circulation, because of what's in the blood, because of your cells being fed, you just changed your life. Does that make sense to everybody? So when we say something like, we do marketing, like we change lives, something like that, it's not so you can kick everybody's butt. It's because it changes you from the inside out. So then you have to think about, how important is my life? And how important is my day-to-day experience? And then how important is my effect on those I love and care about and also work with and come across otherwise? How important is that? Because the more you fight with the busyness and the stress and the me first and the me before them, meaning they're less important, meaning less respect, what happens? You get smaller, tenser, and have more problems. And guess what's next? Aging faster. What else? Health problems. You know, stress causes about 90% of health problems, right? Everybody heard that? Why? Because it blocks your circulation. That's it. That's really all we're doing with acupuncture, right? Improving circulation. Telling the brain to send more blood where it needs to go. Which is pretty amazing, actually, because Gua Zhang does that too. Years ago, I learned Amma therapy, bodywork, massage, Chinese massage. Came through Korea. It's a full body massage. It can treat individual diseases, but just general massage. All these problems seem to start going away. Seems magically. Why? Because you're teaching the body how to increase blood flow everywhere. You're opening it up. What are we doing with Gua Zhang? What are we doing with Gua Qigong? You're giving yourself a massage from the inside out. Think about that. You spend your money, you spend your time, you're learning a phenomenal martial art for health and self-defense. The most important thing is the health. You don't need to protect anything if you're not healthy and you're dying, right? So your health is first. Clear mind and good circulation in the body. So when you practice, that's why it's the treasure. That's why it's the antidote. That's why it's the hair running into the stump and it's like, I got Bagua. No. Every single day I have to work. Every single day you have to do the work. You get out of bed and you don't loosen up. What happens? Every day you get up like that, you get stiffer and stiffer and stiffer. Yeah, the once in a while workout, the once in a while practice. Yeah, one thing is for skills, for self-defense. But the other thing is for overall conditioning inside. Remember, this is a Taoist art. And the Taoist concept, the goal is like purifying from the inside. You purify from the inside, then life changes. Your perspective, your experience, your response to things. You don't get angry so easily. You're more optimistic. You're more positive about things. You're more compassionate for others. You have more understanding. And you got to wonder, when you look at the news and you see, of course, they only, it's sensationalism. They always put the worst stuff going on. But you watch the people, and you have to feel compassion for them. Red face, spitting, just screaming at each other, and everybody hates, this side hates this side. That's it. We hate them. And you got to wonder how they got there. It's the opposite of what we're practicing here. It's the opposite. Because of the busy, because of the constant stress, because it's the me against the world. The world is determining my experience. That farmer always hoped for better fortune, a better time for his children, for their future. And the discovery, or in his case, just a remarkable chance occurrence, but the discovery of not having to work and experiencing something so great screwed him up. You're here, you have this, you're learning it. You think about what you're going home with. With Qigong, we try every quarter to give basically a training program. You practice that, and you get better and better at what? You're controlling yourself. What does the beginner learn? And who really practices at home? You have the basic Qi exercise. This is about standing with perfect posture. Going back to the old Taoist concept of the heaven, the earth, and the person, connecting the two. We are in between, connecting the two, bringing it to life. And the basic Qi exercise is one of those simple exercises, the simplest moving exercise. And it's just, 2-3 times? No. You need to do at least 10 times and see what happens. Those who go to the retreat and you get out in the mountains in the fresh air in the morning and you take 10, 15 minutes or more and just this one exercise, and you watch the magic that happens with the simplest exercise. It creates a level of body awareness that's hard to attain anywhere else. There are people who've practiced Tai Chi Chuan for many years who don't even get what you can get from the basic Qi exercise. And it's simply because of the yin and yang concept built into it. Tai Chi Chuan a lot of times is just trying to stay relaxed. So it's less yin and yang. Good Tai Chi Chuan should include what I'm talking about, but it's muscles naturally tensing and relaxing. So just by doing it properly, it enhances the circulation. And then you become more in tune with your body and how it feels. Because that's one of the biggest problems with the people who are yelling, screaming at each other. They're not aware of themselves and what they're doing. That anger stops feeling. Again, you against the world all the time. You're smaller. Instead of one with all, it's you by yourself. Meditation, basic Qi exercise, these things open you up from the inside out so that you actually connect to all. It's a natural experience that happens. You think about the meditations that are taught. First one is just getting you to focus. Right? It's a pre-meditation, prerequisite we call it, where you visualize here. But it's like a movie screen here. Visualizing numbers attracts your eyes to the third eye, which helps to center you and open your mind to more possibilities. Also, more focus spends less energy. Spending less energy causes less stress. You're less tired. You have more energy to do all this busyness and all this stuff that's stressing you out. You increase your threshold through this practice of what you can handle. You can handle more, because doesn't life keep asking for more? Our lives today, looked at 100 years ago, is supposed to be so easy. Is it? I think worse than ever, because we're busier than ever. It's non-stop. Anyone I talk to, oh, I should practice more, oh, I should meditate more, but there's only so much time. You have to give yourself an appointment. You have to have an appointment with your Bagua. You have to sit down, shut up, turn it off, recharge, just like your phone. Phone doesn't work if the battery dies. Right? Same thing. You have to give yourself that time. And that's why I encourage, just like everybody with their New Year's resolutions, you find a way, 2019, you find a way to make a difference in your consistency with your practice. It's not about 6 hours, 8 hours. We're living in different times than 100 years ago and beyond. It's the consistency. You know, you learn the sword. How often you do the fundamentals, right? You do it more, it gets more and more comfortable. That sword becomes part of you. That is very interesting when you feel that. You know, it's no different than you reach for a fork, you don't miss, right? You reach with the sword, it goes where you want it to go, when it feels like it's part of you. You have control of that. And then imagine the spear, so much longer. You can put it right where you want to put it, because of repetition. And what is that? If you have that skill, you're not the same person that you were when you started learning it. You've changed your physiology in order to be able to do that. So forget the fighting part. You want to fight? Okay. That's a consequence. It's automatic. But you're always better off not fighting. I'm saying training right with intent will make these changes naturally. Developing these skills is about self-mastery. You can't develop these skills without focus. You have more focus, you have less energy spent with everything you do. Spend less energy, you have more for all these demands. And it's not so stressful anymore. So what is that worth going into 2019? Make a plan. You got a little time off for the holidays, sit back, make a little plan. I'm going to do this. I know my schedule. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Experience it for yourself. There is nothing that can replace personal experience. All my words in the world, all the books you read, no matter who you listen to inspire you, if you don't do the work, nothing happens. Because something that sounds great right now, if you don't do the work, you're just going to be looking for something else to get you going again, to get you excited again. That's why people go from course to course, from school to school, from book to book, from teacher to teacher, looking for something to inspire them. When the real answer was just go deeper into what you're already doing so you get the experience of the person, teacher, book, where they came from, how they wrote the book, how they made the course, how this Gua Zhang was created. Who was inspired to do that? Of course, the story is Dong Hai-chun, but it came before him too. And they needed it for real self-defense. But what they found was profound in how it changed his lives. Let's go to meditation.